Let's address the same issue with Prakash. I think, Prakash, think we are talking about mobility, your industry itself. And I think it has gone for a vast change even before the pandemic to what it is right now. I think particularly as a premier brand, I think now you really focus on a lot of user experience, stated, unstated, buying behaviors completely changing, your supply chain particularly because you are a different class of vehicles that you really roll it out. Actually, your supply chain is largely global. So this is a perfect storm in terms of a lot of changes that happened to your organization. So how did you respond to those changes from a technology standpoint? And do you have the tools to really deal with the quantum of change that happened in automotive?
Of course, the pandemic, what actually has made a bigger impact in our side is on a customer side.
Right.
So it's the customer side which is actually was impacted, because all on a sudden customer doesn't had an access to our dealership. So and the dealers are the place from where we sell the car, we service the car, and that's the key point. So for that we needed solutions, and solutions which are robust enough, which has an kind of things which can support the customers at any point of time. His entire customer journey, we usually look at around 300 to 400 customer touch points in the whole when we define our customer journey. So all those touch points has to be actually enabled with the system, the digital way, where the customer is reaching. If he's trying to do something, he should be able to do it in a seamless manner, and that should be his experience also should be omni-channel experience. So what we needed to react to this situation. Actually, the first thing what we did was we created a solution, an online sales solution. This online sales solution had a complete setup of starting the journey when customer coming, configuring the car, he's looking at what are the prices, what are the modules I can have it. We enabled with an AI enabled bots also. So if a customer wants to have some idea about the product, then there is a product genius sitting behind, which is a machine, a robot. It can tell you what kind of features are available in the product, what you will get it, and at what price. So a customer, what he is doing when he is reaching to the dealership and talking to a sales agent, he should be able to do it online. So these technological capabilities we needed to build in. If he wants to have a different financial structures around it, that if he wants to buy a car, what are the different model of financing available, even what are the inventories which are available, how much time it will take to get a particular car if I want to. That was on the sales side. If similarly on the service side, if you are going for a service booking, the customer cannot go to the dealership anymore. So there should be an feature available to him where he can book his online appointments, he can schedule it, he can whatever the technicians are doing it. So we enabled the solutions, typically video enabled solutions, where whatever is getting repaired in your car, whatever changes are happening, you can see it in we call it actually see it now in our internal world. So that's the kind of an applications where the technicians from there itself with the app, he shows it to the customer that yes, this is where the problem is, fault is, this is what I am going to repair, it will cost you this much, are you okay, can we go ahead with it? And you don't have to travel and you don't have to go to the dealership. So this whole pandemic actually taught us to have a solution which is easily available, which is very seamless, which is connected to all our solutions, different solutions, and which has a lot of data points generated, a lot of intelligence built into it, and can provide a solution to it. So this one big change I saw in last 1 year, and this is in fact picking up a lot also. that
Okay.
we are going completely online, we are going completely in a
Brilliant.
contactless way of working.
Yeah, that's interesting actually. Chandra, can you really understand that now infrastructure in this case becomes a lot more critical than in many other cases actually. So do you think you have enough insights that you can give to somebody like BMW to talk about some of these, how can they can discover things much early, provide a seamless customer experience, things like that?
Yes, Chandra, I'll do that. But when Prakash spoke about his problem, a lot of things went in my mind. And actually, there also there are a lot of scope and potential for AIOps, because when you have online sales, Prakash, you actually don't know what are the kind of questions that the customer would ask. And if a bot has to respond to that, then you need to have an NLP built into that. So NLP is one of the key AIOps technologies there. And probably before initiating the discussion, you might want to know the profile of the customer, because you also understand what are the questions that you would ask. This is a kind of a self-learning, understanding the environment and self-learning, and then using the NLP to correct the answers to respond to that. So I could see that self-learning and self-correcting in the action for that online sales, Prakash. It's an interesting. Chandramouli and others, the AIOps platform is also working based on the self-learning and self-correcting. When it is deployed in an environment, it first understands that environment, how that environment behaves. And you talked about insights, Chandramouli. So this is how it actually provides. And first, it actually learns. And after learning, then it can identify the hotspots in the environment well in advance, and let the owners actually work on it. Owners means that application owner or infrastructure owner. The difference between a proactive tool like AIOps and a reactive tool like automation, I'm actually calling that automation, the traditional automation is the reactive,
Sure.
is that it actually provides insights about an event before it occurs. And that is actually very, very important. That is what we call that the self-learning and be ready to work on it. The events that are happening in a device or a set of devices are related to each other in some way. Again, this is how it actually works. Some are related based on the relationship, how they are connected, and some are based on the nature of the problems. Many times, I think all here would understand that a problem happens in one server is actually not caused by a problem in that server. It is caused by somebody else, somewhere else. That is where we need to do the correlation. I think Vinod also talked about the correlation of certain things based on what we know. But the IT environment being very dynamic environment, that the static correlation actually will not help. The correlations keep changing in a dynamic environment. I'll just tell you, recently in one of the customer engagement where the Zero Incident Framework is installed, we came across a unique insight that none of the traditional monitoring tools could provide, that we could link a ticket from a user actually with the error log message that we have collected from the server. And there is another one, the threshold breaches that have happened in the storage. We actually link these things. Whenever that user gets an error, the particular error, we could see that error log happens and the storage in the average read and write actually breaches the threshold. Then we could actually link these three, and we were able to provide the resolution so that the user did not get the ticket